All right, ladies and gentlemen. So I would like to invite Samukele Mkhize, Country Compliance Head of Binance Africa. Did I pronounce your name correctly?
Yes, you did. So it's Samukele it's Mkhize.
Mkhize. Samukele Mkhize. Beautiful. It's a beautiful South African name, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful South African name. Yeah. I really, really beautiful. I mean, I have a brother who is, of course, I'm Ghanaian. I've got a brother who has a South African name, and his name is Femba. I believe it means hope in South African. And, he was named on the back of Nelson Mandela being released. So, I do feel the South African love, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you about myself. I'm actually, so when we trace back our family lineage, we're actually from the Congo, from the DRC. Yeah. So that's where Mkhize people are actually from, where people, I think apparently there's a place in the Congo called Ambo, which is where that's where we descend from.
That is beautiful. Wow. So your whole surname has a whole lineage and history behind it.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, once again, thank you, Sam, for coming on the show. So welcome to Fintech Friday, a special edition in partnership with Binance Africa. So today we're going to talk about unlocking the power of blockchain technology across African economies. So we're going to touch upon opportunities and challenges for regulating cryptocurrency, fostering innovation in the fintech sector across Africa, attracting investment, and African innovation hubs. And then we're going to touch on some use cases and some startups that have come out on the back of all of this. So Sam, apart from, discussing names and, countries, how have you been and what have you been up to?
Right. So, so I'm obviously at Binance. I'm the Binance head of compliance for the Africa region. It's been an amazing journey. I think we've obviously been on a journey of innovation, collaboration across the continent. Really trying to get or spread the, just the crypto story. Our story obviously dates back to 7 years now. It's actually great, where we literally, and probably from your listeners, we had 15, initial investment of about 15 million USD equivalent. And that's where the crypto journey for Binance kicks off. I think we're now sitting at just over 200 million users globally, which is an amazing
phenomenal
over just 7 years. We've literally got access across the globe, and we obviously, our preoccupation is now telling that good story on the African continent and really spreading, driving practical use cases. I think a lot of people have thought, like, when we speak about crypto, it's something very, very almost abstract, but we're trying to bring it home, make it, I think we've got great connectivity across the continent and really show how it's breaking borders with respect to innovation, crypto investment, and spreading the payments journey.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, it's quite a time that we're in right now, in terms of a financial adoption, in terms of Africa, in terms of cryptocurrency and the blockchain, and also smartphone adoption. And there's just so many moving parts happening right now. It's a very exciting time that we're in. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, great. So Sam, thank you again for coming on the show. Let's go straight into talking about opportunities and challenges for regulating cryptocurrency on the continent. So I think really and truly, I think it's a great time in terms of the opportunities, because right now, regulating cryptocurrency in Africa, there's a significant opportunity, but there's also a challenge at the same time. So, it's great for those that are unbanked and underbanked, having access to cryptocurrency. I mean, the smartphone adoption in Africa is fantastic, which is forming a platform for this to take place as well. And I know also, there's opportunities for jobs, for tech and finance to be created. You just mentioned how Binance has grown, over the past few years. And then there's remittance as well, opportunities as well, where it can form as a basis for maybe faster, more secure remittance, etc. But at the same time, there is volatility in cryptocurrency, and at the same time, you have things such as money laundering that could be used in terms of cryptocurrency could be used as a vehicle for money laundering. So as much as there's upsides, there can be downsides as well. And I just want to hear from your perspective, Sam, not just in general, but also from Binance's perspective. What are some of the opportunities and challenges that you see in terms of regulating crypto on the continent?
Maybe just as a preface to our discussion, our philosophy as Binance has always been to collaborate with governments and policymakers just with respect to crypto regulation. I think there's obviously always the double-edged sword. It's almost the chicken and the egg, where you assess what comes first. Is it innovation or regulation? And really, regulators are faced with three key decisions. You either ban it, as some jurisdictions have done. You wait and learn to understand the market, and then ultimately, obviously, move towards regulation. And I think what we've seen, especially on the African continent, is that there's definitely been that wait and learn approach, just to properly understand the market, properly understand its impact. And, that then obviously moves towards progressive regulation. And that's where I've come in, especially in our team. What we've tried to do on the continent is really spread the word, where we've taken learnings from different jurisdictions. So at the moment, we've actually got licenses in 19 jurisdictions across the world.
Wow.
With one obviously also pending in South Africa. And what we're trying to do is really engage regulators, show our best practices that we've done in other jurisdictions. For instance, you've got things like onboarding standards. You made very important mention of the risks of crypto assets. One, obviously, being market volatility.
Mm-hmm.
Others, then being, especially, from the financial intelligence and anti-money laundering perspective, being the various use cases of crypto and how they've got a propensity of being used for illicit activities. Now, what we've tried to do is really, bring home certain learnings that we've got specifically with respect to our onboarding structures, ensuring, we've obviously got a principle against, anonymity. We don't do business with clients we don't know. We ensure that, using the wallet addresses, it always goes back to a warm body. We're able to conduct that vetting upfront with respect to know our client, know your client, know your business procedures. We've also got transaction monitoring procedures in place, which ensure that, as and when we see already onboarded clients, we're able to appropriately monitor the transactions, flag any suspicious transactions, and just really ensuring that we create a very safe ecosystem. Because effectively, what we want in order to promote crypto adoption, people need to know that, their funds are safe with you. And that's what we're really trying to do, just in ensuring that we've got a safe ecosystem, people are able to trade together, still with that almost decentralized type feel, where you don't have, a strong regulatory, banking type relationship. But at the same time, we want to ensure that we don't want crypto assets ending up in, funding, conflict regions or anything like that. Or any illicit activity. We still want to ensure that it's legitimized, and that's why we've actually really pushed for regulation, just in ensuring that governments are really able to conduct, play their role in the social compact, and ensuring that citizens are essentially safe. And then we obviously then drive the innovation and create the platform for citizens to engage accordingly.
Yeah, that's a very powerful statement you made, Stam. I think, as much as, Binance, organizations such as Binance are just doing a fantastic job in terms of, encryption and making sure the platform is safe, and there's regulations being observed. I think it's also just as important for the government to be on board and to collaborate with organizations such as yourself, so that everyone wins, so that everyone is able to play their part in making this a safe and regulated, society as far as fintech and crypto and blockchain goes. I mean, I know using the Binance app, I mean, it's like when you're trying to log in, it's like trying to break into Fort Knox. I mean, there's like, you get the factor authentication, and then there's the QR codes, and then there's the KYC, as you mentioned. I mean, there's so many kind of steps you have to go through just to access the account. And, sometimes it may seem like quite a bit of friction, but it's really, really important because of the day and the age that we're in.
Absolutely. And especially, I think what you want is, I just want to give some, just some overall, just stats we've looked at. You're looking at, when we look at West Africa, for example, right? You've got a population in Ghana of about 34.45 million. You'll correct me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Mobile connections, for example, you're sitting at, it's more than that. It's 38.95 million. That's about 130% of mobile connections, meaning you're dealing with a very clued up populace who have got the ability to connect. Internet users, it's about 24.06 million. That's about 69.8% of the population. So I think it's just the writing's on the wall, meaning that the uptake is definitely there, the capacity to log on is there, and you then have to ensure that you're providing a safe platform a platform with the appropriate encryptions. We've got your pass keys, multiple authentication, factor authentication, which then ultimately really ensures that you've got the ability. That we don't want a situation where you wake up and your funds are gone. That's definitely not the type of ecosystem we want to create. It's all about longevity, ensuring that people are able to invest in the market. And it ultimately also leads to a lot of innovation as well, because once you're able to ensure that you get people who are able to onboard, hold crypto, we've also got a lot of other, great products, from your spot products to your derivatives products, really breaking down borders with respect to peer-to-peer type trading. And that's what we're ultimately trying to achieve.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe, Binance is doing some great work in terms of like fostering innovation in the fintech space. Like, I think what Binance is doing right now in Africa with mobile money is pretty fantastic. So now, there is now that integration with Binance and mobile money where, countries like Ghana and Uganda are able to kind of like get into that technology. And I think it kind of, closes that gap between mobile money and cryptocurrency, because I think I had a conversation with, Yamdi, which is, operations manager from Binance Africa. And she was just, talking about how, in terms of like mobile money, I think, and cryptocurrency, there's lots of similarities there. And I really feel that, mobile money could transition on to just maybe purely, crypto and blockchain, and, transactions or cross-border transactions can even be done a lot quicker and faster because of the nature of the blockchain.
Yeah, and look, if you look at some of the practical use cases, you've seen that people are leveraging towards the blockchain technology. One, of course, is that and touching both on the commercial viability and your regulatory environment. Transactions on the blockchain technology are immutable, right? Meaning that they can never be deleted. They'll always be there. So there'll always be a source of funds and a trail of funds to ensure that, how regulators say they want to follow the money. You've got the capability. Right.
Yeah.
And then very importantly, using the, just the speed of the blockchain technology, it really enhances your payments capabilities. It takes them to a new level. I think you're dealing with transactions here, literally cross-border, taking place, within seconds. And that's the ability of the very strong ability of, blockchain technology. What we've done at Binance is that we've also, in driving and fostering that innovation, we've obviously got Binance Labs, which is our venture capital arm, which looks at partnering with fintech startups and creating various use cases using blockchain technology. So not merely focusing on our products, but also driving the expansion of the technology into other products and various use cases, because that's what we're all about. We're all about spreading the word and attempting to really onboard as your innovators and creating great solutions for our clients. What you've then got also very importantly are the incubation programs, where we take on, your smaller fintech entities, and attempt to really, again, collaborate with them to create, that, those client-centric solutions. But then most importantly, I think what we really drive is education. Consumer education, because there's no point in us speaking again, figuratively, all of these great concepts, but if we don't bring them home and teach people, educate people on the various use cases of crypto, from a very elementary onboarding spot level to your more complex, your complex derivative type product, which is really great. Yeah. People make a lot of money from that, but there's no point if we don't teach people that. So what we've done is that we've also got Binance Academy, which is almost a repository of various learning systems. We've got articles which we've published, contributed to, practical, almost learning case studies for people to properly understand how it works. Because I think one of the biggest things we've observed across the continent is that if we want to drive financial inclusion, we need to ensure that people are at the right level of financial literacy. And, and it's our social responsibility as entities such as Binance to ensuring that we drive that type of education so people can really have a buy-in and are able to trade, legitimately and, more from an appropriately type of informed way in that sense.
Yeah, no, that's very, very, very important. I think everyone having access to education. So, helping, to close that financial inclusion gap is really, really key. I think, we can have all of the technology, the blockchain, the cryptocurrency there, but if people don't actually know how to use it and actually how to maximize it and all the different use cases, we're not really going to be able to drive Africa forward the way in which we can grow it forward. And I think it's more than just, and I'm glad you highlighted it, because it's just more than just being able to, make transactions and allowing the average African citizen to be banked or a bit, or have better access to financial resources, but it's also being able to leverage these opportunities to kind of bring Africa out of poverty and to, push Africa forward, I think is really, really important. And I'm really excited about Binance Labs and what Binance is doing, partnering with some of these startups. There's so many startups out there that are leveraging blockchain technology really well, like Bitlands, which uses it for, land transactions. And then you've got AgriLedger, which uses it for global food systems. And then you have Twiga, which is using it for groceries. So I think it's just clear that the opportunities are limitless. And, I think it's really important as well that there are incubators and there's accelerators and there's education institutions such as yours to help push people forward and to help, startups and entrepreneurs and innovators to, really maximize the blockchain technology. I mean, it's fantastic what Ghana is doing, iHub in Kenya is doing, and Bongo Hive in Zambia is doing as well. And in terms of Binance, I've got a question in terms of Binance Africa. Do you guys, because you guys are always adding features to the platform, I think the product roadmap is just fantastic. Does Binance Africa have plans to perhaps maybe integrate maybe some of the best features or some of the best products that startups that are produced on the back of Binance Africa's funding, to integrate some of the best features or products that they make into the platform? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Because ultimately, it's all about essentially collaboration, right? You take learnings from very commercially viable type products. I think a similar initiative, for example, has been in South Africa. We've got partnerships with huge retailers such as Pick n Pay, and it's strictly collaboration with Binance and other payment service provider type entities. Providing the technology to enable that seamless transaction where you literally can wake up in the morning and you buy a loaf of bread using your crypto. And that's the type of, these are the solutions that we're definitely looking for, where you take these solutions, you can really, add them or, to the blockchain type technology, and you're able to utilize them very practically. And it speaks to the practical use cases. And, these are the solutions again, as you've noted, there's so many innovations across the continent. We're definitely not, I don't think we are ignorant to the use cases of blockchain technology as Africans. And in addition, it really has got the potential to break down the barriers. We always talk about, this Africa Free Trade Zone and how we want to almost create we want to leverage off the population and, use cases. And I think this is a great opportunity to do so, because as soon as you streamline payments and investments, what you're doing is you're ultimately creating almost a borderless type of financial ecosystem. And once you can achieve that, and you're looking at trade between, I always say, you get trade between Accra, Johannesburg, Harare, Lusaka. That's really the dream, right? And that's what we want to work towards. And I think, especially when we talk tech, we've always got the ability to get caught up in the technical jargon, forgetting about the practical use case that we want to use it for. And that's what we effectively want to do. So as Binance, that's really the journey. It's to, create this type of, partner with, key role players across the fintech industry, ensure that you've got a safe, transparent type ecosystem. You ensure that you also collaborate with regulators. For example, we've got we obtained so many regulatory requests from various regulators. We've partnered over the years, even with law enforcement, where we've conducted trainings on blockchain technology with law enforcement agencies. And then secondly, we've acted as a very important source of information, at times even averting kidnappings, where we're able to, assist, really collaborate with authorities in getting, just in ensuring that they can find the perpetrators. Because, what you're finding is that because of the nature of the blockchain technology, perpetrators are thinking, this is probably a way out, whereas oblivious of the fact that the blockchain technology is a technology which we effectively have control over. We understand how it works, and we can track you down.
Yeah,
And
you
that's
can.
what
Yeah.
we've given that information to law enforcement. They've been able to utilize it in their investigation. So I think we've really got a good story to tell. And we just really need to expand that web and work together with regulators, forming those policies that they need. We get those minimum requirements right, and then we foster innovation.
I think it's fantastic. It's a beautiful time to be in right now, Sam. I think when you look at different African countries, they all have their own kind of like mobile money platforms, whether it's MTN Money, M-Pesa, etc. Vodafone Cash, whatever. Well, now it's Telecel in Ghana at least. But if that was all eradicated and it was just maybe blockchain, or maybe they all were using BNB, or maybe they were using stable coins to transact or to buy and sell, it would just be so much smoother and quicker and more universal. So I think the key point that you mentioned here is collaboration. And I'm glad this has been done on a governmental level as well. I mean, I think you've probably seen where Ghana wants to be, the number one, blockchain backed government. I think 99% of the government is run on the digital platform, Ghana.gov. So I think we're starting to see, so how far, this is a question I've got for you. How far do you think are we from having this, what I would say is this nirvana of like financial, everything, everyone's on the same financial platform, everyone's on the same page in terms of the government, education, almost everyone had been educated. How many years do you think we are from seeing all this come together to make the blockchain technology, to see really the full potential of the blockchain technology in Africa?
Look, I think it's very difficult to say, given that I think, especially even in Africa, the countries aren't necessarily, we're not all on the same level with respect to both. For example, Ghana's got you're probably a front runner, right? But I would say, obviously, over the next decade, it was 10 years, which is not a long time.
It's not a long time.
We've really got the capabilities of almost standardizing it, across the region. And you're quite right. You get a government which is almost, I think South Africa as well, where there's definitely attempts to make it, more digitized, but I think definitely not on the level of blockchain technology at this point in time. But for me, I think we're definitely seeing a more collaborative wave of policymakers, and they want to see this work. So, if you look, it's how long is a piece of string? I'd say, maybe let's get 15 years. I would love to see it. I definitely see a willingness in, I haven't really seen a particularly hostile type, approach towards it on the continent. I think there's definitely a willingness. The key thing is the learning. And if we get the educational part right, we're definitely on a good journey.
Absolutely. I think the building blocks are there for sure. For example, I think by 2030, I think 88% of the Ghanaian population will have smartphone adoption, which is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. So I think when everyone has smartphones, when everyone has access to education, and more people are banked, and and the government is more kind of based on the blockchain, I think this is when we're really going to see all of this kind of come together really nicely and be very, very powerful for the whole continent to see. Just before we wrap up, I just wanted to ask, do you have any final points or any final words that you want to make in terms of unlocking the power of blockchain technology across African economies?
Look, for me, our motto, as our motto suggests, freedom of money, and we really want to get as many people as we can onto the platform. We've got very, I don't say we have low barriers to entry, but we've got fair barriers to entry. Should if you've got your documentation in place, we're able to appropriately identify you. We're able to give you access to our platform. And I think, as we've seen across the continent, I think we've got a huge unbanked population. And we definitely see blockchain and crypto assets as a way around that. Going forward, we see your wallet or payments type financial services growing exponentially, probably far exceeding banking services over the past next decade or two. And we want to be at the helm of that. And how we want to do that is by ensuring that we integrate all of these initiatives onto the blockchain technology and really drive innovation and growth there.
That's a very good point, actually, in regards to digital wallets exceeding, traditional banks. I think, that industry is certainly being disrupted, the banking industry for sure. And you've seen, platforms like Revolut really emerge and really challenge, the traditional banks, and, of course, platforms like Binance as well really challenge, the fintech and, and banking industry for sure. Sam, these are some fantastic words that you've shared. Thank you for sharing some insights and wisdom with the audience. Just as we sign out, where can anyone connect with yourself and keep up with what Binance is doing?
Yeah, so look, you can definitely find Binance on Binance webpage. There's a lot of information on Binance there, the different products we've got. Have a look at the Binance Academy, learn about Binance, educate yourself. In addition, me personally, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm always sharing, your foremost, crypto regulations, the work we're doing there, the work I'm doing, collaborating with, regulators across the continent, any, media work as well, which is very important. So, I think there's great opportunity to connect. And thank you so much for having me. And thank you to your listeners.
Likewise. Thank you so much, Sam, for coming on. So that's it, everyone. That's Sam Mkhize, right?
Yeah, that's the one.
Sam Mkhize, Country Compliance Head of Binance Africa. And we'll catch you on the next episode. Thank you so much for listening.